Yeah, so I took this program at Mohawk kind of thinking the whole time I would do the illustration stream. That was one reason I even chose this program. But then I during my first year, I heard kind of the rumblings that there would be a UX UI stream, and I was really, really interested in that. So I was super excited that they opened it early because it was supposed to just be starting, I think, your year, but then they opened it up quicker. And I was interested in taking it because I just saw how, well, first of all, there was a gap in my own knowledge. I didn't really know anything about it, but I also see there being so much potential in what you can do with it and it being a huge asset moving forward, finding a job, just because of how important web and digital is. So I was really excited to learn more about it. And I think so far, um, it's it's really met my expectations. Like it's been really great. Michael is an and Kristen, they're both awesome. The classes are kind of a little more open-ended, so you can spend a lot of time on things if you want to and go really deep if you want to. And um, I've enjoyed all the assignments too, so that I do end up spending a lot of time on them because I'm interested in them, and there's a lot you can do. I don't know. I find myself now integrating the UX UI stuff into other classes. Like I've put QR codes on different things that lead to an InVision prototype. Um, and anyway,
I
I
literally,
really enjoyed it.
I just showed them in Vision literally just this morning.
Oh,
So we
okay.
just went
Yeah,
over.
I wasn't sure
Yeah,
if
we
they
just went over
really.
prototyping for the first time today, and I know it blows my mind. The first time I was seeing it, I was like, "That is amazing." So I'm expecting these guys to just be right now,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
yeah, they were just doing that. And just before you had popped in, I had kind of said the same thing in regards to like just from more UX point of view, how you end up integrating that knowledge and how you approach a website from a UX point of view into print as well. Like it's not
Yeah.
just website either. It's learning those techniques and ways how they apply in more ways than just a website.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and
So
the UX side of things, user experience, is a little bit more research, interviewing, which I've liked too because I get to interact with a few more people. I like doing interviews, and I also have an undergraduate in sociology, so some of that ties in really well to the user experience stuff. And if you, yeah, sometimes it feels like, okay, this is a lot of data, and how do you organize it? Um, but I think in general, it's just a different skill, and I think it's really useful. So
yeah,
yeah.
that's great. And what do you feel? I mean, not to like bash other streams. Do you have any friends or any other streams? Do you feel that for yourself, do you feel, what you might be taking away from this stream versus, what you maybe be hearing from the other streams, like say, for instance, illustration?
Mhm.
Is there anything like that that you feel that you stand apart from the others or what you're enjoying?
Yeah, I did talk to some of my friends who did illustration, and I kind of thought that because I'm still interested in it, that I could still buy the tablet and teach myself how to do some of the digital art. They've been doing a lot more storyboards, some like character drawings, which I actually am not as interested in. So in hindsight, I think I made the right decision. Some of those students are really into character drawings, and so it's worked well. But I think, um, yeah, illustration is important in the user interface portion of this stream as well. So if you like that, you can still bring those into it. And I
Yeah.
think you can still kind of teach your yeah, keep learning and using it anyways.
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
say the same about illustration. I when we had Shay in the other class on Friday, she was going to take
Mhm.
illustration as well, and just talking to some of the other students, same thing. They were like, "Oh, I was going to go into illustration, but now I'm considering." And like you said, like illustration does play a big part in UI. It's
Mhm.
in icons. It's in imagery, just across the board, not just stock imagery. You can apply your own illustration, because I feel as though if you are going into illustration, you probably have a skill that you want to flex or maybe develop a little bit more. And I think that that perhaps could potentially be, I don't mean to, I'm not like knocking the illustration stream by any means, because I know life has a plethora of knowledge for you guys, but that could potentially be something you might be able to practice on your own. Like you said, you might be able to get a
Mhm.
tablet and create these illustrations yourself, and also then apply them to a website, from a UI standpoint. So I think it gives
Yeah.
you the availability to almost maybe integrate both. And same with print.
Mhm.
I think
Mhm.
that learning things from a UX standpoint can also be applied to print. Granted, you're not learning how to use, a print press and things like that. So that might be something, if there's people that are like, I really like to know how those printers work, I want to get into pre-press and all that stuff, then yeah, obviously I think the print stream would be where you would want to be. But
Yeah, yeah, with print, I in first year, I thought I was not interested in print at all, and actually after taking the second year courses, I am a little bit more interested in print because we do a few print projects, and I've seen some of the work the people in print stream are doing. But I also think if you get a job in a print shop, you can learn some of those things on the job. Obviously, it would be an advantage if you know how to use some of that machinery already,
yeah.
but and I think they have a lot more practice making die lines and making their own kind of printed products. So, yeah, I mean, I think that would yeah, if you're interested in that too, I think it would be a good option, but
Yeah, you do die lines, I think, in can't remember which class it is with Dan. So you get I think you do the beer case. So I think you make a
yeah.
build a die line, or maybe
Mhm.
he does. I know I used to teach package design when it ran 2 semesters. And that same thing, you'd create your own die line. So and I also think,
Mhm.
at the same time, it's 2 classes per stream. So I think being able to navigate, you're still getting, it's not like if you're going to the UX stream, you're like, well, damn, now there goes my job in the print room. If I
Yeah.
wanted that,
Mhm.
you're still gaining knowledge from everything. It's your 2 classes that are going to be directed into, I think, one of 2 ways. I don't know if you would agree with me, Michaela, but you want to make sure that obviously you're choosing that stream because you love it. It's something that maybe you really like to do. Like if you hate web, if you hate everything about web, then probably don't want to go into this stream. um, but then I also think because you're in college and you're here to learn, choosing something that you feel you're going to take away the most from. So feel as though, where are you going to learn the most from? If you're like, I know everything about illustration already, I know how to do this, I did that, I've taken art courses since I was 7. Maybe you want to take that because you're like, I kind of just want to have 2 classes that are going to be like a breeze for me. But then if you're like, I really want to walk away with maybe something that is outside of my knowledge, and I'd like to take that away with me, then another stream, in that particular direction. And vice versa. Maybe you already know a lot
Mhm.
about this UX UI stuff, but you really want to gain some knowledge in illustration. Might not be like your passion at this time, but you're like, I really want to walk away with some more illustrative abilities. So maybe that's where you want to go. So
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and it's not we in the UX UI, we don't do any coding. So it's it's different from the web class because that is more using Dreamweaver, but we haven't touched that at all in
no,
these two classes. So it's
you
it's all about yeah, like like, okay, what do they actually need in a website or an app and figuring that out, and then the actual design of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's good to have that stuff. Also from a standpoint, I think it's
mhm,
just a little bit of basic knowledge, but it also can be learned over time. Totally
mhm,
transparent. Stuff like that I learned. My husband's more of a developer than me. And there's certain things that I look at and I'm like, oh, I'd like to do this. And he's like, not sure how we're going to, or like, that's a way bigger process than you think it is. So then I'm like, okay, well, my client can't afford to pay for that. So then, no, I'm not going to do, XYZ kind of programming. So I think that, a lot of that stuff comes in time. Yeah, it is beneficial, but yeah, you don't need to be like, oh no, I don't know how to code or I hate coding.
mhm.
Jeff is
Yeah,
saying, sorry, Michaela. I was thinking about either the UX UI stream or print stream. If we take the UX UI stream, but we still have some experience in the print center in our non-stream classes. I know. Do you work in the print center at all, Michaela, or no?
um, so no, like, we do work on projects that are printed, so, like, I still take the specialized print design class. In the first semester, you do a card deck, and in the second semester, you do the beer case, and those are printed. But I don't go into the print center and use the
Um,
printer to print it, but the print stream would, or they are in the college printing things.
yeah.
So I haven't touched those machines. Mhm. I don't know about 3rd year if that would change, but
I don't believe so because then everyone
mhm.
kind of, you guys, I think just have one more course. I think then in fifth
Okay.
semester, I
Yeah.
believe you have one more course that's directed to your stream. And then by sixth semester, y'all just kind of come together and um,
Mhm.
do everything under the sun to build your portfolio and go get a job.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I think from my class, it seems like most people took the print stream, and then it was illustration was second most popular, and then UX UI was the smallest group. But I think that was a combination of students probably not knowing too much about it, and also maybe because it is so new that they wouldn't want to be like the guinea pigs. That would be my assumption.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know. I think it's probably the the best applicable to help you find a job. That was kind of my thought about it. So,
Yeah.
but it was also what I knew the least about. So, yeah, what Kristen said, you kind of have to make a decision based on what you really want to
Yeah.
get out of this program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys were kind of
Mhm.
like you said too, that I think that had something to do with it as well. Yeah, definitely because it was newish, but also probably because it was summertime and then you found out it was going to open up. So it would have been,
Mhm.
and a few people
Yeah.
still poured in after us. So as the semester went on, then a few other people joined and they switched streams. So these guys
Mhm.
still have a bit more knowledge. And this is visual web. I don't know if I mentioned that, Mikhail. This is visual web. So
Mhm.
they're kind of just getting the groundwork for things, just to kind of get like a little knowledge as to what UX UI is. So combined into one class, we kind of do a bit of UX at the beginning, and now we're focusing a little bit more on the UI portion of things. Um, so they're kind of just dipping their
Mhm.
toes in and seeing if they like it. So some aren't a fan of XD right now, some are really liking it. And it's also to say, like you don't have to, if you go in the UX stream, I don't believe you have to use XD or Figma or something. I think you still have the availability to
Mhm.
use whatever program you like. It's probably just recommended if that is probably an area of expertise you did want to go into. You would probably need to, if you're going to graduate or get an internship for UX UI, because you're like, hey, this is the stream I'm in. You're probably going to go somewhere and they're going to say, well, you have to create it in XD for perhaps, or if you're
Mhm.
like, well, I only know Illustrator, then they'll probably say you need it. But anyway, yeah. So
Mhm.
they're just getting